Heather, what can you tell us?
This is what we know right now. There's no one injured, and most of that fire is contained. Take a look at the scene left behind me.
I'm not Sarah. Organizers just brought me this warm cup of hot chocolate. I'm here with the Johnson family, where they have their 7-year-old, their 6-year-old. You guys, let the people know out there, how are you keeping warm? Bart, it's really noisy out here because the 30 animatronics behind me are like real-life dinosaurs. Take a look at this Tyrannosaurus Rex here. His tongue is moving. His eyes are blinking. That big tail behind him is waving back and forth. Bart, it sounds crazy, but this man has 24 dogs living here and 37 cats. I'm actually inside one of those rooms that has about 30 cats. You can see them sitting on top of their cages. Some of them are inside of the cages. And like you said earlier, this is a city violation. So Animal Control came out yesterday and got a close look at not only this room that I'm in now, but all the others. And this is what they found. Tickets given out today range from $40 for simply parking on the sidewalk or up to $500 for parking in a handicapped space. But not everybody who violated the parking rules in the city got a ticket. Hours later, police found one of those group members dead. I talked to friends of the group as well as San Antonio rappers and police to help piece this story together of what happened. Here's what they have to say. When fire crews arrived, they found the building swallowed in flames and 2 cars on fire. Nearby businesses along Lucille Street, including a daycare, had to be evacuated.
Heather, what can you tell us?
This is what we know right now. There's no one injured, and most of that fire is contained. Take a look at the scene left behind me. There's about 8 fire trucks here blocking off one side of Holly Street. Now, you can see there's a ladder coming from one of the fire trucks. That's because some of the fire crews are still going into the attic to make sure that all the fire is put out. Now, this is how fire officials tell us this all started. It happened around 4:39 this afternoon, almost about an hour ago. They got a call about a structure fire. They said that a man had seen his microwave catch fire. He tried to put it out with his extinguisher, but failed. So he ran outside, saw some smoke, and then called police. Now, after that, the neighbors right next to him say that they heard the fire trucks coming, got a knock on their door, and was told to evacuate. As you can see, there's some apartment attendants down there now talking with officials, but they told me that it's a pretty scary situation because although the fire is contained, 3 apartment complexes, 3 apartment rooms in there are damaged, and none of those tenants are allowed to go inside. As we learn more information about this investigation as to what the cause was and when those apartment tenants will be able to get back into their places, we'll let you know. Back to you guys.
And with a boat that blocks the driveway. So I'd like an officer to come out.
Too many phone calls like these is why the police chief is cracking down on illegal parking. As Officer David Connor was writing a ticket for being parked on the sidewalk, the owner of the car showed up, upset because she had warned her husband.
I just saw it and I was just telling him, honey, no more parking, and then the corner house, you're not supposed to park right there, and they have to be parked in the right side.
People who do not listen to the police chief's warning will get a ticket.
I'm a man of my word. When we first talked about parking initiatives, I haven't forgotten that.
Chief Simpson's crackdown on illegal parking has officers combing through the city, from the island to Annaville, looking for violators. Like this car on the sidewalk, or this car facing traffic. Officer Connor said he caught someone illegally parking in a handicapped spot at Driscoll's Middle School.
I said, do you have children here? She goes, no, I work here. I go, oh, an employee.
The tickets given out today range from $40 for simply parking on the sidewalk or up to $500 for parking in a handicapped space. But not everybody who violated the parking rules in the city got a ticket.
If somebody walks out, then it's our responsibility to educate the public, let them know, and give them the opportunity to correct it.
Just like this.
You can't be parked on a sidewalk.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Were you aware of that?
No, but I am now.
The police chief says education is what it is all about, whether it is through a ticket or a warning. Heather Jackson, Action 10 News. It all happened here on FM 1554 and Alice around 6 p.m. Ruben Carpenter says he was approaching 1554 when he saw a driver swerve from the left lane into the right lane.
Flipped on his driver's side and it skidded, and Miss Cortez, this is where she lost her arm right here.
Blood and skin are still stained on the road, where Rosie Cortez's arm was severed from the elbow down. After seeing the crash, Ruben ran up to the driver's side and pulled out his phone charger to wrap her arm and stop the bleeding. The woman's children were already out of the car, screaming.
They were grabbing me, tying my arm, and saying my mama, and saying, and I was just trying to calm them down and then deal with her.
Luckily, he was able to stop the bleeding until Halo Flight arrived to fly her to Spa Memorial. Ruben says the rescue was all about timing.
If it would have happened 10 seconds before, I would have driven past the road and I would have never seen her.
That is why Rosie's 9-year-old son is grateful, because he was in the passenger seat and remembers it all.
I just couldn't sleep because that memory in my head. Stayed up all night, stared at the wall, wondering what's going to happen next.
Even though he was in shock, little Juan says it was easy to stay calm and help his mom.
I want to keep her safe because I love her. She helps me. She takes me to football practice.
Losing part of her arm was the only major injury Rosie suffered, but her family is still asking the public to keep her in their thoughts. A man saving a woman's life with an iPhone cord. Now the pair that survived this traumatic experience was eager to meet up once again, so their family set it up at a local clothing store owned by Rosie's brothers. Here's a look at the reunion.
Because if it wasn't for you, then I wouldn't be here today. And I appreciate everything. I'm going to give you one more hug.
Yes, Mama.
Thank you.
Rosie Cortez finally met Ruben Carpenter face to face 3 weeks after the accident, a moment they had both been waiting for. They immediately started talking about how it was fate that brought them together that night.
It was just God. I mean, it was just, I wasn't supposed to be there. I had no business going into town.
Rosie says she remembers everything. She says she tried to overcorrect driving into the left lane when the car flipped onto the driver's side and slid down the road.
At that moment, I know I had severed my arm. I mean, I could see the bleeding. So my reaction was to immediately hit the brake, and that's when we came back up.
All 4 of Rosie's kids, ages ranging from 1 to 9 years old, were in the car. She says they are still dealing with the shock, constantly asking why they could not save her arm. This is what she tells them.
I'm still your mom. We'll still do, everything that we've done before. And from tumbling to football mom to, I'll still be there for them.
To hold them, to kiss them.
Comes down, Mom.
And still be their mother. And for that, she is truly grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, I am forever grateful for him. And he's going to be a part of our family for the rest of our lives.
Such a touching story. Well, today was not just about the reunion, as you could imagine. Rosie was not prepared for this life-changing event, so she needs help covering her medical expenses. So at today's reunion, the family also hosted a bake sale and blood drive. There will be more events to come. If you are interested in donating to help her and her family, or are interested in upcoming benefits that will raise money for her cause, log on to our website, kztv.com.
Care about poor kids. It's sad what they have to go through. You take them home, I go wake them up in the mornings, bring them to school. There's no parents. There's no door on the house.
In between tears, the principal of Skidmore-Tynan High School explains the obstacles he faces overseeing an over 60% minority school.
I grew up pretty poor, so I know what it's like.
So he makes it his mission to roam the halls every day, check on students and teachers, and even knock on homes with no doors to make sure his kids succeed.
We have different aspects of orange, guys.
Talented students like Quentin Washington, who are usually overlooked.
Actually plan on going to a college in Arizona. It's University of Advanced Technology. It's kind of my thing. I like science, I like math, and it's always been my passion for school.
Successful students like Washington is why Skidmore-Tynan High School was given the Silver Award by U.S. News and World Report. U.S. News judges schools based on reading and writing test scores, their ability to get minorities to excel, and their college readiness rate. Skidmore-Tynan has an 100% graduation rate because here, graduating is mandatory.
We don't give them the option to drop out. It's not an option at Skid.
Even when the neighborhood around them looks hopeless, making something out of nothing is what the principal says all educators should strive to do, even in America's current academic state.
That's what we have to do here, and that's what we do here. Every person. From custodians to bus drivers to the secretary to my counselor to me.
Heather Jackson, KRIS 6 News.